The NBA Finals are tied at 2 games apiece. Oklahoma City will look to take a stranglehold on the series with a win at home in Game 5. The results of Game 4 were bitterly disappointing. Indiana held a lead for the majority of that game, ended up blowing it late. There has been some changes in the MVP markets. According to Twitter this morning, Scott Foster is now the runaway favorite to win the Finals MVP. All joking aside, if you came here for conspiracy theories, you've come to the wrong place. Yes, they're talking about the go-ahead bucket where SGA blatantly pushed off and then potentially traveled. Yes, they're talking about the fact that Scott Foster called 71 fouls when they'd averaged about 50 per game prior to Game 4. However, I've been betting on the NBA for 3 decades now. I'm well aware of how things work in the NBA. I know Scott Foster's reputation. I know that it's not good for NBA revenue when a small market team like Indiana takes a 3-1 lead in the finals. So who am I to come here and complain about it after the fact? When I made my bet, that was all baked in to the price. I still feel we're on the right side. If you had told me you could get 11-1 on Indiana to win Game 1 and win the series, and the series would be tied 2-2 heading into Game 5, I would still take that bet. And let me ask you guys, for those of you who have seen bettors that had Oklahoma City minus 6.5 in Game 4 bragging on Twitter, do you think that they should be bragging? Do you think they were really on the right side in that game? Or do you think those who lost with Indiana plus 6.5 were on the right side, but were just unlucky? For me, it's irrelevant. I've got futures bets. I didn't have the against the spread play for Game 4, but I'm holding my head high. If I could do it again, I would make the same bets. Scott Foster, we know his reputation. As I said, it's all part of the game. You're not going to get any complaints out of me, and it's just not very productive for me to come on here and complain about it to you guys. So if you're looking for that, like I said, you can find plenty of that on Twitter. The bets I'm looking at for Game 5, we've cashed in SGA points, rebounds, assists under in every game in this series so far. The bookmakers aren't budging. Big game for SGA in Game 4, scored a ton of points, was great down the stretch. I guess there was the Naismith with a little touch on his shoulder and that fake shot attempt to draw a foul. Once again, people will say Scott Foster shouldn't have been calling that a foul, but I would say Naismith probably should have been smarter and shouldn't have had his hand on him to begin with. But yeah, despite all that, he didn't get a sniff of reaching this number with points, rebounds, assists. In fact, he had 0 assists. And the way that Indiana is defending him, the way that these games have been quite defensive and low scoring, and the high stakes in Game 5, yeah, we're going to go under 47.5 points, rebounds, assists again. I don't have too much of a stomach for doubling down with the Pacers as an underdog. I'm already heavily invested, but I don't think I'm the only one that sees it playing out just like this. I don't like Indiana's chances in Game 5. I mean, it's possible. I'm going to be cheering for them, but the way I expect it to unfold is Oklahoma City wins at home. Indiana comes back for Game 6. They force a Game 7, and this series goes to 7 games. And, who can take a Game 7? It's up for grabs. It'll take a miracle, and I'm well aware of that. But I do expect the series to go 7 games. So we're going to take SGA under 47.5 points, rebounds, assists. Indiana plus 1.5 on the series handicap. If you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. And if you got anything to say to me, even if it's nasty, hit me up in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.